Hey, what's good? Dawud Anyabwile is an incredibly talented, award winning animation director and illustrator. He's also proof that it's okay to meet your heroes. Dawood is celebrating 35 years of Brotherman Comics, a comic book based in a universe he created and manifested with his brothers. This is my conversation with Dawud Anyabwile. Before we get into it, remember to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some clothes that I think would look good on you. Let's go. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I have certain people that I look to when I want to improve my art, or if I want to um, really stretch what my hand is trying to do and what my brain is trying to do. And this man is one of those people for me. I will pull up his Instagram account and I will just draw what he makes because he is that dude. You guys, this is Dawud Anyabwile.
Oh, good thanks. Good thanks. Appreciate that intro.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like I know um when I'm drawing, I know I have a tendency to keep drawing the same thing or different characters in the same position.
Yeah.
And so to break out of that, I'll pull up, Dawood is also the creator of and illustrator of Brotherman Comics. If you didn't know that, that was a
Sir.
huge thing. So I'll go and I'll get my comic books and I'll start drawing things. And like even things as a filmmaker, I like to move the camera around, and I love the different perspectives and the different angles that you draw.
I appreciate that. And it's um I kind of run into the same thing, like I feel like I'm doing I guess we have like a default setting.
Hmm.
I guess a lot of artists have default settings. Like there's just a way that we draw a nose or a way that we um draw a head shape. And then when we even like when we were younger, we copied off of TV and things like that.
Hmm.
And copying doesn't always it's not always considered like a bad thing because it helps you to break out of your normal way of thinking,
Hmm.
you know. Because I think when I started working at the production studios on different film projects, and you have to follow the model packs and just get into the style of the show. So
Hmm.
you step out of your way of drawing because you have to execute things for the show. And then when you leave, it's like, oh, okay, I picked up how they do their line work. I didn't usually do that. So then you start
Mm.
applying that to your thing. And then sometimes it's hard to go back to your style after that because you're drawing their thing. And then you eventually you come back to you again.
Yeah,
But what you learned there is now absorbed as part of your arsenal.
yeah,
So yeah, so that's legit, to look at other people's work, and I do that all the time.
yeah, yeah, and it's also kind of the same thing like when you're looking at reference material,
Hmm.
you pull up different people doing different body poses and you drawing. It's kind of the same thing. The ultimate goal for drawing someone else's art is just a little bit different, but you're
Yeah,
still looking at reference, you know, and
yeah.
trying to are you mostly digital or are you analog these days?
Um, well, I became mostly digital because the market kind of when the market shifted, digital became good for production.
Mhm.
Like even like all the graphic novels that I did, all of them were Photoshop, illustrating digitally. Over the years, the pens got better, the pen tools
Yeah,
got better,
yeah.
and mimicking the paper and stuff got better. But I still like conventional. Like I like digital. It serves its purpose, like for work.
Mhm.
Um, but I like to get away from the computer and sit down and draw. It's
Yeah.
just that I don't get a lot of opportunities to do that because fortunately the past few years since 2017, I was doing back-to-back graphic novels and
Oh, nice.
and um, storyboards for film and any other projects. So I was always constantly at my computer.
Mhm.
I can remember like even my son, like he'll come in and he'll see me. He say every time I see you, sitting right at that same spot because big old house, but I'm always in that one place every time they come over.
Yeah.
To see me. And I
Yeah.
said, yeah, got to get it done. But for me, it's like um, what I did like when I was younger, sitting out on my front steps with my friends, and we're all drawing in our sketchbooks.
Uh-huh.
Um, well, I don't really ride public transportation, but when I used to, that was like filling up sketchbooks, riding the bus and the subway and things like that. And just getting away from just being confined in the house to moving around. So I'm actually making time for that now
Mhm.
and just sketching. I bought a lot of art supplies, conventional art supplies, sketchbooks, pencils,
Yeah.
um, things like that. And I like watching people now, like who are conventionally drawing. Like I still like the digital drawings, and I learned a
Yeah.
lot from that. But I'm kind of more fascinated now when I see somebody actually just pulling out some markers and a pencil
Yeah.
or or paints inside of their sketchbook. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna try that. You know,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
I think that's one of the few things that's gonna save us from AI is
yeah,
the
yeah,
actual
exactly.
process,
Hmm.
you know?
Well, and 'cause I had a feeling that that would come up because nowadays it's almost like you can't like not talk about AI. And my perspective is that yeah, I mean I see the tool, uh, the useful tool in some areas, and then the only thing that usually gets me is it's almost like the removal of what we're talking about, the
Mm.
process,
Mhm. Mhm.
because process is the thing that because really your passion and stuff when you think of when you grew up, the passion was the accomplishment of something.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like um
Yep.
you want to sit down and make something, or if you're looking at animation or something, you want to make that.
Mhm.
You don't want it just to appear, you want to make it. And I
Yeah.
think we're in this era where everything's just appearing, and I think that doesn't give it the timelessness of like a Michael Jackson. We watched him grow. But if you
Right.
instantly prepare Michael Jackson, but there was no history, he's just Michael Jackson now,
Yeah.
and he's really mimicking what Michael Jackson, who we saw grow and learn and study, and he had a family, and the family had a story,
Mhm.
and all of those things is what makes the music great. So then when you listen to that, there's a whole real story connected to it. And the same as artists, going back to Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and um, Mad Magazine artists.
Yep.
Uh, Everybody has a story and they're real, and that's the thing that made us really love it. Because I was even thinking like, how in Star Trek they make the food like they'll just say that they want a steak or whatever, and it just shows up in the thing. Like,
Yeah.
that's really how the art is
It gets
becoming like
zoomed in or
that.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like pretty soon it'll be like that for food. But it's like, don't you want to see the chef make the food? Don't you want to like you don't want
Right.
to eliminate the process of a chef
Right.
because even for yourself, it's like I like to make my own food. I like to
Yeah.
prepare my food. That's part of
Yep.
the process. And it's seeing people enjoy your food because it came from your hands. You put love
Yeah.
into it. So the same with the art. When I see an artist draw, they're putting their love into it.
Yep.
So yeah. So that
That's a
ties in.
great that's a great way to break it down too, because think of how you're connected. Let's say someone goes through the drive-through at McDonald's. Someone hands
Mhm,
you a bag
mhm.
versus if you go to a really nice restaurant, and I like to sit up at whether it's the
Yeah, yeah,
bar to watch the people cook and stuff like that. I like seeing the machine or the machine parts that are the people cooking and doing their things, and they got the one guy that does the mashed potatoes, they got the other person
yeah,
that does the asparagus, and they got you know, they got the lady over there throwing down some wonderful steaks and all kinds of stuff. And then when they put that plate on your it always number 1, it tastes better just because the food is better.
yeah, yeah.
But being able to see and being able to see how these folks care, They
It's
care about
experience.
what they're doing.
Hmm. It's an experience. You don't just go to the restaurant just for food. You go for ambiance and experience.
Yeah.
And even with the art, the artist, it's the experience of the artist that usually connects you to the artist. That's why we're
Mhm.
talking now. If
Mhm.
if do you really interview an AI? There's really nothing to interview. The thing just wasn't there 3 seconds ago, and now it's here. There's no story. But
Yeah.
I get the instant satisfaction. Um, the I guess we'll say the Kool-Aid of it. Growing up, we loved Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? And there's always going to be an audience, just like the fast food. There's going
Yeah.
to be an audience for that. But it doesn't completely replace the restaurant or
Right.
the what's that hibachi, like the Benihana, like
Yeah.
where they
That's fun
perform and
too.
flip the spatulas and stuff like
Of
that.
course I want to see the onion volcano.
What I mean? That's the entertainment, and it's the fact that that's the human experience and human nature.
Yeah.
That's what we're attracted to. So I think with technology should marry the human experience. It should coincide, not dominate.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, well, it's here. Nothing I can do to make it go away.
Sure.
I could see ways that you can utilize it, but you don't want to eliminate the human experience because
Right.
that's what gives it the love. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's how I see it. It's a tool.
Hmm.
It's a tool. For me specifically, um, I like using it to do away with the C-level management.
Hmm.
I don't need anybody to create spreadsheets. I got my own process.
Hmm.
So for me, AI is a thing that's actually making because I have a special interest in the creative community, I
Hmm.
see it as leveling the playing field.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
now you and I, not just you and I can sit and have this conversation, but um we can also like go out and do like create our own things. We don't need the studio system anymore to make our own stuff,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, and that's why I say is the advantages. The advantages is that it does help you get time back.
Mhm.
Having that assistant, because that's really what it is. It's an
Mhm.
assistant that
Exactly.
helps you. You know how it is when you were I wouldn't just say when you're younger, but the people you surround, say before AI, you wanted to surround yourself with people that know stuff. So if
Yeah.
you had a friend who was into legal, or you had somebody that knew money, somebody who knew how to structure a company, and they were your friends, then it's like, hey, you can call them up. Hey, how should I do this? Or somebody knows how to do website production, and they're helping you with it. Um, so
Speaking of which,
AI
we
is
gotta
kind
talk about brothermancomics.com. I went there and it looks like it's down, so we gotta talk.
of, oh, for real? Oh,
Yeah.
recently?
Yeah, I went this morning.
Oh, I'm gonna have to double check that because it should point directly to the big city swag shop.
Okay.
But hold on, let me I'm gonna check that live. Oh yeah,
Brotherman
yeah,
Comics.
it goes right to the big city swag shop.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Maybe
Yeah,
okay. That's a
it
for
was
some
down
reason.
for probably most of the year. It was down because I had stepped back from it because I was working on this other stuff. But I
Yeah.
just went back live again.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad that worked. I was doing it on my laptop and first Chrome said that it's taken too long and then I tried it on Safari and then it just kind of hung up there. But then now I just did it on the iPad and it popped up. So we're good.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Brothermancomics.com. It works just
Mhm.
fine. Go get some good stuff.
That's right. That's right.
Uh, how long? No, actually, I saw this morning. Congratulations,
Oh,
35 years of Brotherman Comics.
yeah, yeah. A long journey.
Yeah.
And yeah, because like I said, the Brotherman Comics site, it was down probably a year, because I was always meaning to upgrade it. And like you're saying, with AI, that has been helping me in terms of like things I normally get stuck at, like when I was trying to run my Etsy stores, and sometimes with shipping, am I putting the right shipping? And they'll have a help section and things like that. And then you're going through that, and then you're spending all day just trying to do one simple thing.
Yep.
And that was the thing that's been the most frustrating. And then once I realized that, hey, okay, I have the assistant now that's like, oh, how do I fix this? How do I get this
Mm-hmm.
functional? I'm trying to get my pipeline set up,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. So I'm not replacing myself as a talent. I'm enhancing my channels.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's helping me to take what I have uh and smooth it out, like get the wrinkles out
Right.
that have been slowing me down for a long time. So that's
Right.
why I say I don't knock it as a whole. I say, oh no, I think it's definitely a plus and something that's helpful to us. And it's it's helped me to organize not only the Brotherman Comics page, but I'm also getting back into my conventional art
Yeah.
and selling that on eBay. So
Mm-hmm.
it's also helping me with how to, some of the best ways to get my art onto eBay, how to promote it, how to balance it out. It can even look at certain images and say this is actually more striking of an image, because it takes us outside of maybe how I might look at something,
Mm-hmm.
and it can see how the public might see it and give you
Right.
that perspective. You have the
Yeah.
ultimate choice at the end, but it's good to have that perspective.
Yeah.
So to me, I that's why I'm saying, like, to marry the two, between the technology and the human experience, not replacing
Right.
one or the other.
Right. And not for anything, but it's improved my relationship with a lot of my friends because now I don't really call them up with silly ideas anymore. I just talk to Chat GPT. I'm like, all right, what if there's a frog in a tree and all that?
It's actually true. It's actually true.
But when you started Brother Man Comics, you started it was your idea and you started it with your brothers, yeah?
Right.
What's it
Yeah.
like working with your brothers?
Well, I mean, our dynamic has changed in all this time. Over the years, uh, from when we started. When we first started, I think I was 24. My brother Jason was 25. Well, me and him are like 14 months apart, so we're
Hmm.
the same age for 14 days out of the year. So it's 24, 25, and then guys 4 years older than us. So when we first started, there wasn't really much exterior support.
Hmm.
So we had to figure a lot of things out ourselves. I
Yeah.
had a few friends that were into comics, and I knew a lot of people that were into art, but comics was more specialized. I didn't
Hmm.
know people in the comic industry, and the few people I knew that were into comics, it was more independent comics,
Hmm.
such as one artist, Reggie Byers, who did a comic called Shuriken. He had a company called Victory Comics, and they
Okay.
put out a book. This is like in the mid '80s,
Yeah.
and he put out a book,
Everything was
Shuriken.
still analog, everything was still
Yeah,
paper. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I went to school with the other brother, who did Hamster Vice, Dwayne Ferguson.
Yeah.
Um, but Reggie was the one who really put me on to like the publish, like the printing, the printers, because that was hard to find. Like we go
Yeah.
to a library. If you go to a library trying to find a printer back then, it was too the information was too rare
Hmm.
and modern. Meaning in I can't really think of any type of book at that time that we could find that had comic book printers that used a web press,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I'm not saying it was out there. We just didn't find it just from going to a library. It's kind of like you had to know somebody who knew, and
Mm-hmm.
they gave you the information. So that's kind of how we started. And then also, like, we had defined roles. Like my brother Guy, uh, he did the writing.
Mm-hmm.
My brother Jason was production management. I would just draw, but I also, me and my brother Jason worked on distribution, driving around the country with just boxes of comics and selling them direct.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't really worry about distribution in terms of like the major comic stores. Like if
Yeah.
they didn't buy a lot, it didn't matter because we were selling like tons of books
Yeah.
directly to people. Um, but we still had like comic shops ordering a bunch of books. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we were shipping UPS like every day, boxes and boxes of books, like hundreds of books.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, I mean, those days it was literally like the big 500 box. It's
Yeah.
like 500 books in a box, and they're heavy.
Yeah.
And we may have like 6 boxes going out. You know what I
That-
mean? And then go to the mailbox, and then there's orders coming in, just regular orders coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Because we did like uh ultimately within that period of that 5 year span, we did like 750,000 books. But that was
Wow.
a lot of books that we were shipping because Brotherman #1 was reprinted probably like 10 times, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
10,000 print run per book. So that's why we tell people if you have Brotherman #1, you have to look. If you want to know the first printing, the address inside said East Orange, New Jersey, and that was from the first 10,000 print run. All the other books say Irving, Texas, because we had moved to Irving outside of Dallas the
Hmm.
year after we came out with Brotherman. So we were down in Dallas for like 3 years.
What was that
So,
move about?
um, well, that was kind of more tied into like my parents had moved down there to Dallas like in '89, but that was rooted in like my father had um he was diagnosed with lymphoma cancer,
Mm.
and doctors had recommended he be in a drier climate
Mm.
because they were in Philly at the time. And so my mom, she's a Philadelphia public school teacher, and Dallas Independent School District was recruiting teachers. So my
Nice.
mom, she took that job really on behalf of my dad. She's more like an East Coast person,
Yeah.
but they said, hey, drier climate. So in '89, they had moved down there, and that was around the same time we started Brotherman in Jersey in
Mm-hmm.
'89. And when we introduced it at the Black Expo New York, my parents had recommended, hey, why don't y'all relocate to Texas? Because down here, the overhead is cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were right outside of Manhattan at East Orange, New Jersey, right across the river. And they said, the overhead's cheaper. Um, we were basically in the middle of the country. And since we were driving everywhere, like hitting up a lot of events, we were equal distance to Chicago, New York, Atlanta, LA when we drove everywhere. So we put
Yeah.
like thousands of miles on our van, but we would always drive back to Dallas to Chicago, Dallas to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Dallas is where a lot of the media coverage jumped off. Like our first
Mm.
major story was Dallas Morning News,
Nice.
and the people in Dallas were really receptive to us. So
Yeah.
they gave us a lot of support. Like we ended
Nice.
up on CNN, and that snowballed into being on the AP wire, and then other stories. Then it went back to Philadelphia, Philadelphia Tribune, Philadelphia Inquirer. Was it Inquirer? Yeah. Uh, LA Times, Chicago Sun Times, but it was Dallas that really supported us and helped push it. And then we started like reaching the country and then ultimately around the world. Like we ended up in Japanese magazines and
Wow.
fan base around the world. And this is in the early '90s. So this
Yeah.
is still before internet
Yeah.
and before social not just social media, email.
And comic book artists were still very uh held very high, right? Like comic book
It,
artists were loved
oh,
back
it
then.
yeah, it was different. I mean, I think because when you look at, I think not only comic artists before social media and before internet, there was a time when a lot of things that we did was special.
Hmm.
Even songs on the radio were special. You know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
why we would sit around and wait for the song to come on with our cassette ready to go. You know what I mean? Because I got to hear that song because it wasn't accessible. Like now, you can just get things when you want. You know,
Yeah,
you can set a show when you want, as opposed to back in the day, we had to be home at 7:55 because the show's coming
yeah,
on at 8. You can't
yep.
record it.
And
So
if you
people
missed
who
it,
had talent,
you just missed part of the story.
they just missed it, man. You gotta wait for your friends to tell
You
you what
gotta,
happened.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was a different time, but I think that's what made us really enjoy things. That's what made things exciting. And
Hmm.
we consumed, like now, you know, you see so many great things on social media that we don't sit in it. You know what I mean? Like we see a great piece of
Yeah,
art that somebody put hours and hours and time into, and now you just look at it and say, "Oh man, that's
for
dope."
three
You
seconds.
know,
Yep.
but and then you scroll down, and then the algorithm gives you another one that's dope. You see what I mean? If you're looking at graffiti pieces, like, wow, look at that. When back in the day, you had to go to certain areas, like, oh,
Yep.
there's a piece down on Market Street, you got to go see it.
Yep.
And so you can take the train all day long just to get to that piece. And then it's almost like an unveil when you come around the corner, like, oh my God. You know what I mean? You taking pictures and you just stay there for a while and just take pictures and absorb it. And
Yeah.
now, you know, scroll through. And I
Yeah.
think that that takes away from the artist that puts their soul into the work. And you know, it's like that time has changed. But when I think about back in the day, getting back to what you were saying, artists were you know, like when I met an artist and they said, "Hey, this is the person that drew this," you know, like doing the comic conventions. That's when I
Uh-huh.
actually started meeting a lot of artists that I looked up to, like Sergio Aragones
Hmm.
from Mad Magazine. He was, his table was right next to us. And I'm like, man, I'm sitting next to Sergio Aragones. And he was a cool guy. His family was there and stuff, and they were all socializing with us. And it was just a different vibe back then. Everything seemed like exciting and new. Um,
Hmm.
and what we were doing too uh, was groundbreaking
Yeah.
because even though the industry had its way of doing things, we were sprinkling in our style of how we
Yeah.
wanted to promote our books, and we were doing a lot of things outside the comic industry.
Hmm.
You know, black bookstores, um, barbershops, beauty salons, places where people weren't seeing comics. Like that's
Mm.
probably that's commonplace now.
Yeah.
But when we were doing it, Brother Man was the one that was in there.
Yeah.
And then people started seeing what we were doing, and then they started going in that route. So that's why
Yeah.
people look at Brother Man as pioneering, um, in in which a lot of other people, even not just black comics people, were finding a lot of those avenues. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to stay in the comic book lane just because it's a comic.
Yeah.
You know, whatever the topic is, take it outside the comic thing and go to where that, you know, if it's cars, you know, go to the car shows or blah
Yep.
blah blah. You know,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Back then you had to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you had to work for. And then going back to what you were saying about graffiti, growing up in Chicago, when Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and them were lighting the world on fire, there was one building right next to the highway that had a painting of Dennis Rodman.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so big that like the top of his head was at the top of the building, but
Oh
then
wow.
they made it to where you could switch out his hair color, because if you remember,
Mm-hmm.
he kept painting his hair.
Well, yeah.
And they had this big ass, I'm assuming it was like cardboard or whatever it was, board of some sort, and then they would switch out his hair, and then you'd have to go to that building to see
To
what
experience. Yeah.
style it was that Dennis Rodman had that week or whatever it was. And it's just, um, describing it, like people are like, okay, well, I guess you just had to have been there. Everyone
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Chicago will know exactly that building that I'm talking about. It's on the north
Mhm,
side, just off of I-90. On the what? On the south side, on the 90 west side of the highway,
mhm,
whatever
mhm,
building that is. But yeah, it was a thing. Like you'd go there and then, if you're down by the building and you're taking pictures and stuff, there's other people down there taking pictures. And so you
mhm.
bond that way. And
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. 'Cause when you
you
get
know?
up there, there's other people that pulled up there, and then you start making friends there. And then a lot
Yeah.
of times I met other writers. They were there. You write this, you write that, and next thing you know, exchange your phone numbers or writing it, tagging in their black books. You know, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a magical time, man. Like, I mean, when you're living in it, you don't really think about uh, you know,
That you're making history.
yeah, yeah, you just living in that moment. But then you think
Yeah.
back to it, I was like, man, that was really really cool times that we had back then. And every place, everything has its pros and cons because there's things that the young people have access to now where I was like, man, I wish I had access to that back then. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like, each the lack of is the thing that created the grind that we had. The
Mhm.
way that we had to work is because we didn't have these access to other things. And then I sometimes see that now where some people they get uh upset when things aren't like uh automated. Like
Yeah.
it's not so automated. Like man, I don't know what to do. I gotta go out here and figure out a way to get something done. And I'm like, we used to doing that. We was always trying to figure out
Yeah.
a way to make things happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everything's always easy, but you don't flip out because you have to
Work a little bit harder.
yeah, yeah. You just used to doing that.
Yeah. Do you think I know that you didn't grow up rich.
Mhm.
There's a lot of my friends, especially the creative ones, that just keep chipping away, keep chipping away. Um, and I come from not being rich too. Um, do you think the lack of resources is uh, w- what makes lack of resources is what pushes creativity forward, I guess? Does that make sense?
No, no, it makes a lot of sense. I always say like, yeah, I had a rich childhood because I enjoyed my childhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, uh, my parents had always supported the arts. They supported like whatever it is that we wanted to do. It was never really like off limits, unless we doing some nonsense or
Right.
something,
You can't burn that
illegal or
house
something
down.
like that.
Stop it.
Yeah, they're not going to support that. But if we're into arts and doing creative things around the house, that was always supported. So to me, it was like I think when I got older and I realized how a lot of people they didn't have that support. So I
Mhm.
realized, dang, man, we really did grow up rich, man. Like like in that context.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, we always called it in my teen years, we used to call it poor boy tactics. Like you didn't have the money to figure things out, so you we had to improvise.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know how people were doing it. We didn't know how we didn't have access to this and that. That's why even doing Brotherman, I didn't know how comics were made.
Mhm.
Um, Down to the supplies. Reggie Byers just said, get this pencil, get that, and get this type of paper.
Mhm.
And then and and then you're off to the races. But
And
I
draw.
didn't know like how Marvel does it. I didn't know about the comic standard. That's why when people said
Mm.
Brotherman was magazine size. I didn't know what comic standard size was. I just had 11 by 14 paper at home,
Yeah.
and 11 by 14 reduced down to 8.5 by 11.
Yeah.
So that actually turned out to be a good thing for us because it sat with the Mad magazines in some bookstores. You come in and Brotherman was up there with the Mad magazines, and it wasn't in the sea of the standard comics because it didn't fit in those packs. So I didn't know about standard comic size until years later. I said, "Oh, that's standard comic size." Well, hey, I'm on this now. So
now you're like, that's marketing genius.
Yo, people were hitting us up saying like, hey, how do I make a book? And they were making their books Brotherman size, like 8.5. They were getting 11 by 14 and reducing them down to 8.5 by 11. Like if you look at like some of the original independent Black comics, there were some that were coming out and they were doing what we were doing and going like 11 by 14, reducing down to 8.5 by 11. And to me, they were like, they say like, was it Bob Ross that even say happy accidents?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, but it's working. Because in Brotherman #1, I remember using rulers, and I didn't like rulers. I was all more of like a freehand artist. And I really wanted Brotherman to look like a sketchbook, but I had to go through this. It was like a struggle. Like, how do you draw like comic book styles? I'm going from an airbrush artist, basically doing like street art from like 83, 84 all the way up to 89. And then now I'm jumping into comics. But I didn't have people who were inkers, comic inkers and professionals to show me how to do it. I just went and bought an ink brush. That's why I would look at Brotherman #1. For me, I cringe because I didn't know how to use it, but it was exciting. Like, man, I'm a professional comic artist. I literally felt like that.
I am feeling myself.
Yeah, and then by Brotherman #2, I was using the lines in the beginning, and then I think probably like 5 or 6 pages in, I said, "Why? This is my book. Why am I making rulers?" It felt constrained, and then it went from lined borders to rough borders, and then so from the last half of Brotherman #2 all the way to the end, I just had these rough borders.
Yeah.
Because I started refining it more. Then it started becoming more stylized. Yeah. And then I started getting more smooth with it. And then I was connecting it more to how I like doing like the graffiti style and the airbrush. I was always trying to figure out how to marry it, but it was kind of like you kind of like stumbling into, not stumbling, but it's just a process of moving into it. You know what I mean? Just like, say like Grandmaster Flash on the turntables, going from that to somebody discovering the Transformer scratch. So you're going from baby scratch to Transformer scratch, and now they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's easy to look back and say, "Oh, Grandmaster Flash, oh, he just did this, this, and this." It's like, yeah, but you're gonna remember nobody was doing
that.
Or very
go ahead and stand on the shoulders of giants, talk that mess.
So people like they like to propel themselves back through time and compare what they know now to the pioneers who had nobody to compare and contrast to. So that's where I was at with Brotherman. I didn't have much to compare to, which is why I have this initiative called Drawing from the Soul, which started off as an art instructional video that I did back in like 99 to 2000. And it was to teach kids how to draw. But the philosophy of Drawing from the Soul was rooted in really what I feel Brotherman was, and what you and I were talking about when we were talking about having to experience the art, to go somewhere where, basically when you talk about what we're creating versus artificial intelligence creating art, yes, it looks good, but it doesn't have a soul. When we're drawing from experience. Maybe somebody passed away. Or a love that you lost, or something like that. It's not mimicked. You actually felt it, and you feel it in the work. You feel it in people's music. So to me, that was drawing from the soul. That was we're pulling from our seed, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the core of us, and we're putting it out there. And to me, that's what Brotherman was. It wasn't driven off of my knowledge of the industry. It was driven off of uh passion and my love for what I want to put into the world.
Yeah.
Wasn't worried about being the best. To this day, I don't worry about. I never thought about being a best artist.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that a title that I felt like you get given like in elementary school. He's the best kid in class. But when we get to high school, you see this good, you know, this thorough artist way better than you all over the city. And then when you get into the statewide competition, then you in nationals, and then it's like, okay, I see
Now
where I rank.
everybody in this circle is good.
There's people that's good everywhere. So after a while, I realized it's not about being the best. It's about tapping into who you are,
Right.
connecting with yourself. So
Yeah.
who you're competing with is yourself. Forget about
Mm-hmm.
competing with the world.
Yep.
And that's how you stand. That's how you stand alone, is by um drawing from the soul, drawing, because nobody compete. I can never compete with your stories because I don't know them.
Right.
I didn't live your life.
Yep.
You the only one that holds that.
Yep.
And you have to embrace that. And once you embrace that and realize nobody can do what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody can tell the stories that I can tell.
And not
You
just
know what I
that.
mean?
I know a lot of filmmakers and folks that want to get into YouTube and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, I don't know. It needs to be perfect. I was like, no, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't stop creating things. I don't stop creating animations. I don't stop creating films. I don't stop doing that because I'm not perfect. Or like you said, I'm not the best. I'm going to keep doing it. This
Mm-hmm.
is where I am right now. And I'm going to improve. And if you look at my Instagram just a few years ago, you see hot trash from back then. But you get to see the progression. That's just where I am right now.
But remember that's also the hot trash would be your perspective of
The
maybe how
DJ
you're
scratching.
doing your progress, where somebody else was like, nah, that was, from their perspective, it's like, man, you were always good. You know what I mean? Like they're not seeing it how you see it. We know what we're trying to do. That's why I said I look at Brotherman #1 and I cringe. I have some people say that was my favorite one of
Yeah.
all of them. I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
okay, but people, they see something differently, and that's why we have to like step out of our ego, and that actually rolls into what I was doing now with going back into the fine art painting. Is moving away from ego, trying to be what was slowing me down from doing paintings for a long time was trying to be masterful.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do these great masterpieces, and like you scrolling online, and I'm seeing these people that they're doing the painting styles that I like, but they nailed it, and I'm like, I see it, I get it, I understand that, I could do that.
Yeah.
But you know how there's like a process to get to it because you've been
Yeah.
doing digital all the time. So then once you
Mm-hmm.
go to paint, you can get frustrated because you're not that person right away. You're not that person that you look at, admired. I'm not
Right.
doing it like that right away. So it's just like, man, jessel it out. And then next thing, it's the end of the day, and then I did nothing.
Yeah.
And then the next day I tried again, did nothing. And I came across this guy on YouTube, and he's really been inspiring me. This guy named Corbellic, and I really like how his channel is set up because that's what he talks about. He talks about letting go of ego and just creating, and then also putting a timer on your paintings. Just like he'll cap it off like 12 minutes, you're done. I'm like, I'm not actually surprised because it takes me back to when I used to airbrush at the Gallery Mall in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really wanted to make money, you gotta do their shirts fast. 5-10 minute shirts, 15 minutes. If you're doing a half hour, you're doing too long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that the shirts were whack. A lot of times because you you refine and you're doing it every day, you start getting your speed up and you start
Yeah.
finding out quicker ways to make shirts look good using less paint. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Sketching faster. Then I started saying, why am I sketching with black and then coloring it? Let me sketch with the color first. And that way that color is laid out. Then, I started learning all these things to get
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah.
So now when I was listening to this guy on YouTube, uh basically what he's saying in my mind goes back to how I used to work when I was at the mall. Move fast, paint fast, because then you start to not go
Mhm.
for perfection, you're going for completion.
Yep. And your
And the
thoughts
completion,
won't talk you out of doing it.
right,
Yeah.
right. So
Yep.
now I got all these paintings, like just within 2 weeks, I have like over 50 paintings
Yeah.
in my house, and I'm gonna do like 30 more this weekend. And I'm just gonna keep it up. And what that does is it's like accelerated training with the painting. So then
Mhm.
when I go back to do like the masterful thing, like when I'm
Mhm.
ready to do that later, I'm now accustomed to painting again. Now I just slow down and do the big one
Yeah.
because I eliminated the concept of I have to be really good, and now I'm frustrated with the tool and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, "Man, you don't even got to get the best paints. You only have to get the best brush because you're thinking like I got to have all the best things. The
Yeah.
setup has to be the best.
Yeah.
Um,
We're gonna go
uh,
for it.
yeah, before you can even do something. And now I've
Yeah.
eliminated all that. And the content I'm doing, I'm just challenging myself with different things. Go from
Yeah.
landscape to still life
Portraits
to
and
abstract faces,
mhm.
you know, animals,
Yeah.
and it's fun. So even when I'm doing the quote unquote mess up, he said, "Now
Yeah.
leave it,
Yeah.
and just
Someone's
keep
gonna
going
like
to
it.
the next one." Yeah,
Someone's
that
gonna like it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm enjoying now. And I'm like, wow, this is drawing from the soul.
Yeah.
Like
I was
time.
watching on Instagram you working in your studio and you were showing off a lot of the paintings that you're doing. Are
Mhm.
you working in oil?
Now all that's acrylic.
Acrylic? Okay.
Now I do have some oils, like because it's funny. That's a couple years ago when I was getting back into painting. I wanted to do oils, so I
Mhm.
have some oils downstairs I was working with, and I even took an oil painting class.
Yeah.
'Cause I was a fine arts major all through high school,
Yeah.
but I wanted to get back into it. So it was like a master teacher, but I never really had like a master oil painting teacher. So I took one of
Yeah.
his sessions, but I still came out of it. I mean, I learned a lot in it, but I still came out with that looking for perfection thing that
Yeah.
frustrated me because my painting wasn't coming out like what the teacher was just teaching me. Like, because you got
Yeah.
to build up
Yeah.
that. And then I got to jump back on a project. So now I'm going right back to digital when somebody else, they may do this every day. They're not doing digital. So my life is different than their life. So I have to
Yeah.
take that into account as well. But um, now that I'm doing these acrylics, I'm not worried about like I gotta be this master oil painter.
Yeah.
I don't even have to be
Especially
this
like
master.
acrylics are way more affordable than oils.
Oh, way more. And
That's
and
the only reason I haven't gotten into oils
with
because I'm not trying to spend all that money to
all
learn.
that money, and you got the cleanup process.
Yeah.
Um, like I wouldn't completely abandon it. I mean, I
Yeah.
have it there, and there's certain things I can get from it, but I'm gonna come back to that later because to me, I just want to paint.
Yeah.
And if it's acrylics and I'm doing what I'm doing now, and it's actually getting me moving,
Mhm.
that that's the thing. Going back to even what we were talking about AI, the, the passion starts to come out
Yeah.
because you're creating, you're making it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter like it's not perfect or something like that. There's the satisfaction of at the end of the day, man, I did 8 paintings today, or I'm pushing next week. I'm going to do 10 paintings. After
Yeah.
I'm going to do 15. I'm just going to keep accelerating my numbers. And for some people, they're like, yeah, but they want to have these masterpieces. I was like, no, you don't understand. This is going to for me. I'm creating number one. I'm creating content that I can sell,
Mhm.
right? But for me as an artist wanting to do things that are the quote unquote masterful, I'm gearing up for it because now I'm getting just accustomed to painting. Like I'm not scared to come in and do it now.
Yeah.
And I'm not scared to like try different mediums. I mean subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand what it's doing and I understand what the guy is showing me. And then I have my own theory of what I want to take from it and add to it.
Yeah. When you're painting, is there a certain process that you follow? Do you go from dark to lights, or do you go from background to foreground? Is there a certain process that you follow all the time?
I'm still trying to figure that out because seriously, because I ask that question sometimes too, and that's why when I'm watching like process videos
Mhm.
on social media, I'm always looking like, are they starting with light to dark, dark to light? And a lot of people have different ways that they do it,
Yeah.
and they it all depends on like what I'm painting.
Mhm.
Sometimes I might start something with light, and then I'll come in with dark. Other times I some of these abstract pieces, I just go in and write with black, and I'm just drawing, sketching in black.
Mhm.
Then I put down my color bases, and then I come back with black to refine it. Like basically,
Okay.
like when we used to do like the tags in our books, sketchbooks and stuff like
Mhm.
that, we used to do it sort of like that. And then I started realizing like they're just shift your method every time. Like you don't always have to um like if you want to get messy with something, you don't,
Mhm.
sometimes we're always trying to be perfect. Other times you can just get messy.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So those are things that I'm learning now, and I can't even describe it. It's just you just got to keep doing it. After a while, you start to feel it.
Yeah. Let's go back to ego. Um, because I probably bumped into this is why I want to talk about it, because I bumped into this and it is what it is. Um, how much ego do you entertain when you are working with your stuff compared to when you're within the studios? Does that question make sense? Like
Uh,
how do you check your ego when you're dealing with clients like the studio system?
oh, to me, that I've been working with clients since let's say '96 when I first started working in New York. Uh, I was doing game animation, and that's my first time working with professional animators
Mhm.
and having model packs. Because it was a Pink Panther CD-ROM game, so that's my
Mhm.
first time seeing the Pink Panther model pack, and I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know there's a certain way you have to draw his finger. Like if you draw it this way, it looks like a sausage. If you have to square off the tip, they'll just have the fingers. Then I'll
Yeah.
have the shape of his nose. Like that's the first time seeing that, and so like I never went in there feeling like, hey, I'm the best. I actually wondered why I was hired because I knew the guy who's the art director, and
Yeah.
he hit me up, and the timing was perfect because my father had just passed away, my mother passed away, and my father passed away, and that's why that was a big part of why Big City Comics and Brotherman stopped. I didn't know what I was going to do after that, and I was feeling like down and everything,
Mhm.
and my ex-wife, we were married at the time, was pregnant with my second son, and we're back in Philly. And I was just like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And it just so happened, uh, this guy I knew hit me up just out of the blue and said, hey, I got a job for you on this game, Pink Panther game in Manhattan. And I was like, yo, yeah, I'll take it. And I said, because I was like, what do I have to bring? Like, what do I have to do? And he said, man, just bring your skills, because he believed in me. Because I was just
That's
like, man, I
amazing.
always wanted, so I always want to animate, but you're thinking like, I'm gonna be up here with animators. Like, I better have to learn how to animate real fast before I get up there. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and when I got up there, it's like I I turn off what I know, and I
Yeah.
go up there like a student. I
Yeah.
don't go in there like, oh man, yeah, I knew that. Oh man, y'all ain't doing it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I go up there,
Yeah.
it's like every person that's showing me something I'm like, I'm functioning like I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And like, okay, do this. I'm asking questions. And
Yep.
then after that, you know, I was at MTV Animation. Then I was in LA, Class D Shupa on Wild Thornberries and stuff. So that was years of me gaining experience working in studios in
Mm-hmm.
professional environments.
Mm-hmm.
And I always would kick back. It's usually the other people would say, wait, they'll discover, you know, I worked on Brotherman and I didn't know people even knew about Brotherman at this point because I'm not thinking Brotherman. I'm thinking like, I want to learn
Right.
this.
I'm just
And
excited to be here.
yeah, like when I first went to LA, and that was back when I was like, man, I was like struggling back then. I was young. It was like 97, and it was hard to get into animation studios. I didn't know
Yeah.
people, really know people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I landed the job on Wild Thornberries, you know, I'm walking around in the studio. Uh, and as far as back then, it was like I think I was the only black guy in the whole building. I mean,
Yeah.
the landscape was completely different back then, but
Yeah.
everybody was cool. It wasn't a bad experience. It's
Right.
just I'm not expecting anybody to say anything about Brotherman. I'm not thinking
Right.
Brotherman.
Right.
And then the guy who's the background artist on Wild Thornberries, the main background artist, he catches me in the hallway and he says, "Man, you never told me this was you." And then he put Brotherman #1 in my face. And I said, "Oh yeah, that's me." He said, "Man, why are you walking around here? You don't tell anybody like this is you." I was like, I already did it. I'm here to do this.
Right.
But to him,
I'm on
like that,
Thornberries.
yeah, to him that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And because I didn't really look at what I did. Like I was here like to learn this chapter of my life, to move into
Yeah.
the next chapter.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me multiple places, like when I was in New York, LA, because I didn't talk about Brotherman. I didn't talk about it. For a long time, Brotherman was kind of like on hiatus. It
Mm-hmm.
does that at times where I'm not on that now, on something else. But then when I'm on to something else, the people who I think know nothing about this, they find out I do that, and they say, "Why aren't you talking about this?" And I say, "Well, you know, because I'm always trying to level up." So then when I go back to doing that, it's 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 elevated. It's come to another whole nother level of quality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, I know it's a long explanation, but
No,
it's
it makes sense
35-year
though.
journey, man. So I'm trying to
Right.
consolidate
Right.
35 years in a few minutes.
What are you guys doing anything with Brotherman? Any new stuff?
Well, right now it's like I always say that Brotherman never died.
Yeah.
You know, because once you create intellectual property, it lives beyond you, regardless
Yeah.
if you do something with it or not.
Right.
Because it can always resurrect at any moment. All
Yeah.
you need is one opportunity comes in front of you, all of a sudden the world knows about it
Yeah.
all over again.
Yeah.
So I've done after we did the graphic novel, because we did book 1. There was supposed to be 3 books, and I know a lot of people, they probably felt like they were hanging again, like, oh man, he put out 1 book and then disappears, man. But it's not like he disappeared. It was like it took a lot to put out that book 1.
Yeah.
And at the time when I did that, like my oldest brother, he actually passed away right before I did the book. I didn't really have financing for
Yeah.
the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did was I put up my house. Basically, I sold my house to basically recoup the funds that I invested into the comic. And it was a nice house I had, like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think about it. I'm saying I'm in a new place now. But that house, it was really, it had everything I really needed. But I was in the mindset of, hey, I'll get another house. I got to get this book out. It's
Yeah.
important.
I
need
got
to get
this
it
one. I
done.
can get another one.
Yeah. But I think what people understand is that that's how committed I was to it.
Yeah.
But then it took me years before I actually got the home I'm in now. Like it wasn't that easy to get another house. I've lived in probably like 15 different places before this place I have here now. And um, I really wasn't in the mindset of I'm gonna make Brotherman book 2
Mm-hmm.
because it was difficult those years. Um, I mean, I had other opportunities. You know, the graphic novels were happening,
Sure.
and I was actually just saving up to get another home. And I said, well, you know what? I can't put everything I'm making now into book 2 when book 1 never really got an opportunity to really be out there. It's like people have it, but I didn't sell tens of thousands of them.
Yeah.
So if I put all this effort into making book 2 just for really a few people, then that's, you're asked out. Like, like I put everything into book 2,
Yeah.
and now I'm struggling. Are those
Yeah.
people going to come and help me get into a home? You see
Right.
what I'm saying? And I don't
Right.
expect them to. I'm just saying these are the reasons
Right.
why Revelation book 2 and 3 didn't come out. And I said, and I was feeling the stress of it for a while because I was feeling like I owed it to the
Mm-hmm.
world. Like I can't have
Mm-hmm.
stuff half done in the
I've been
world.
through that
So,
before.
yeah, but it was my friend Brian McGee who did the colors on it. Me
Mm-hmm.
and Brian, we're real close. We're like brothers now. And
Yeah.
he said, "Man, if book 2 and 3 come out whenever it's ready to come out, and if it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out. Like don't feel like you owe that to the world. Like
Yeah.
basically, he freed me up in my thinking
Yeah.
of taking the stress off of me feeling like I owe the world something.
Yeah.
And he said, you got to put yourself ahead of
Sure.
all
Yeah.
that. He said, when it's time to come out is when it'll come out. And that's why I
Yeah.
say, yeah, we may never have book 2 and 3. It may go straight to being an animated feature or film. Then you'll see the full story play out then.
Mm-hmm.
And and I've had so many different deals. I still have deals that I discussed with people. We just never really got to the final thing. But
Yeah.
so that's why I say, it's not dead. There's always something active happening with Brotherman.
Right.
I
Right.
just don't really put it out there till it's there. And like I said, so for myself, I'm not personally putting myself out there because I spent a lifetime of investment on it.
Yeah.
And it's at a point now where it needs heavy investment, or I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And I think that's what fans need to understand is unfortunately it takes a lot of money to do things.
Yep.
And it's more than just a production. We're talking you actually make the book, but then, we touched on this earlier, there's distribution, there's all this stuff. And
Marketing.
and if you're a corporation, it costs a lot of money and it's a lot of work, let alone just 3 or 4 dudes hanging out, like making each other feel good because they're getting their ass whipped every day.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's like grown-up stuff. There's bills, you have kids, you have a house, you have all this stuff happening. And unfortunately for the creative process, like when you have all of this stuff happening and you don't have the funds to address all of your challenges, your daily challenges, you don't feel like making a damn thing
Yeah.
except money.
You know what? And because fans, like you're saying, they have to understand, like, because they want what they want,
Mhm.
and they don't think about like what creators go through to give the world something. And
Mhm.
I guess a lot of times it's not for them to be concerned about. They got their own issues,
Yeah.
but just so they'll know, like you're saying, you have marketing, sales, and then you have the blood, sweat, and tears that go into creating a book. You
Mhm.
know, the dedication that you have to have to go in it. And then as we get older, like I
You
was
gotta
saying,
wait for Guy to finish writing every damn thing. Like, hurry up,
actually, no,
Guy. We got
actually,
something
God
to
usually
do,
gets his
man.
part done quick. He usually has his part done. It's really on the art and the production after that. But like I said, people passing away. Like I said, when my brother passed away, uh, one of my cousins, who's like, we all did music and beats and all that stuff, and he basically created like the Brotherman sound, like,
Hell yeah.
because they were doing tracks like since the '80s, and this stuff is
Yeah.
like cold, man. That was always going to be like, one day I'm put out the the music, you know, to the whole Brotherman series, because a lot of people we used to bang the music at the Black Expos, and everybody keeps saying, "Yo, when you're coming out with the album?" And to me, I was gonna do something like Gorillas before there was a Gorillas. That's what I wanted to
Oh.
do. Like
Mm-hmm.
we put out the actual characters
Yep.
from the Big City Metropolitan Orchestra. We'll have a Big City Metropolitan Orchestra album. It's not like a Brotherman album. It's the music from the world, from the universe. It's gonna be like cutting edge. So it's like theatrical, but it's like got a street edge, but it's theatrical. So it's like a mashup and an amalgamation of different types of music. But that was our band. You see what I'm saying? And my cousin, he passed away like Christmas Eve last year, and that was hard hitting, because to me he was a big influence on, like, his music inspired the art.
Yeah.
Just like he said, "Hey man, your art inspires these beats," and I said, "Yeah, but vice versa."
Yeah.
So he's part of the family, the collective.
Yep.
Me, Guy, him, his brother. You know, there's a lot of people in the family who are creative, and their creativity, everything drives it. So when people pass away, that also impacts like your creativity. You know what I mean? And people that
Uh-huh.
don't usually they don't talk about that. You know, some people, because there's artists out here who's like, you know, their mom passed away or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't think about like, oh man, the dude just fell off. You know, you don't know what's going on behind them.
Right.
One guy actually said, "Man, I thought about this one time. Some guy said, because I, you know, in the back of Revelation, I talked about how my brother passed away. Um, like as I was working on the book, I was trying to, you know, I wanted him to see it,
Yeah.
and my brother Mike said, "Nah, just finish it. Like, don't show me the book, just finish it." And I said, "Mike, it's gonna be like 300 pages." You know, and I knew, yeah, he was already like, I knew he was like on his way out. And
Yeah.
he said, "Now just finish it."
Yeah.
Because that's how my brother Mike was. You know, he was that type of dude. And then you know, then he passed away. So to me, that was like that. I think that was part of the thing, made me feel like I gotta get this done. Mike said I gotta get it done. But
Yep.
then, like I said, but after I did book one, I put everything in. I said I'll put up my house. You know what I'm saying? But then after that, oh yeah, I ain't got a house now. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it like this.
Thanks, Mike.
You know? But then, you know, there's some guy he wrote, I don't even know who he was, but he said, "Hey man, where's Brotherman book 2? Your brother said that you need to put it out." So I guess he read in the back of the thing. Yeah. I was just like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's kind of cold, man. You know, like he's saying he's using it as your brother said put it out so I can get it. I don't even know who this guy is. You know what I mean? But you know, like I said, you know, it doesn't make me mad enough. I'm just like, okay, well, hey, he could say I don't want your book, but he's feeding for it. So I just said, okay, well, you know, it's a good thing. It's just I just know what's going on with me, and sometimes that was hard to explain to people. But like I said, Brian was the one that eased the tension on me, because he said, "Dude, you don't have to explain it."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it'll come out when it comes out. You have to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your health.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's where it is now. But I don't abandon the people. I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm relaunching the merchandise, and I got to do things little by little.
Yeah.
And then that starts bringing the opportunities back to you. And like I said, it's not dead. And I think when it does hit, it's going to be well worth it for those who waited.
And this approach is going to save you from, you know how like when you go watch Kung Fu Panda 47, you're like they rushed this. They don't even care anymore. It's just a bag grab.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, whereas if you take your time and actually, I mean, you don't want to do it. You don't want to be so controlling is the wrong word, but protective. You don't want to be so protective that you choke it out. But at the same time, you're not just throwing things out there.
Yeah.
It's you. This is your voice. This is your story. This is your art. This is your connection to music. This is your, you know.
You have to find that happy medium.
Yeah.
median, where you don't hold on to it to the point where it nothing moves, but you also don't bastardize it, where it's just like, well, I just want to make the money, and you
Yeah.
throw it out there, and it's
Yeah.
just like, man, what the heck is this? You
Yeah.
know, like,
Wait,
I can't walk down the street and somebody say, yo, man, you the one who did that. And, I'm like, I'm like, nah, I didn't do that.
exactly. Hey, how many
You want to
artists
come
have
out
you
and be
ever
like,
heard?
yeah, it's ours. You want to
How
sit back
many
and have some pride.
how many artists have you heard bragging about working on He-Man?
Hey, look, nowadays, that's probably gold
Everybody
now.
working on He-Man knew that was specifically to sell toys. That was it. They're like,
Oh
oh
yeah,
man,
I
let me
saw
draw
I
this.
saw
Let me
behind the
draw this
scenes.
weird bowl haircut.
Hey, yo, but it worked.
It worked like a charm.
See? We still talking about it. So yeah, man, like that's why I said there's a happy medium, and there's certain things that were designed specifically like that, and some things, like a Star Wars, the toys came later. It wasn't driven by merchandise. Well, now it's like the biggest merchandising thing, but it's because they were more rooted in good storytelling and world building.
Yeah.
So to me, Brotherman's rooted in world building, and I feel like it's the type of world building I still haven't seen out there yet. Like, I think people still don't really fully understand what we're trying to do with Brotherman, and it's not a hood comic. It's not just an urban story. It's a world.
Yep.
And it's a world full of so many different types of characters. It was just, no, it's like a black universe, but we never really sold it like that. It's not like you read the book and people are talking, nobody's talking about race. I equate it with
I noticed that.
the Asian martial arts films. We weren't in it. It was, like everybody in here is Chinese, but that's cool. That's what made it cool, because you're taking me into your world. You're sharing your culture with me. And if you put me in your world just to pacify me, that's gonna make it corny. Like, no, you don't have to do that. I want to see how you do what you do, and it's
Tell me
great
your story.
story.
Yeah.
It's Bollywood. I want to see how you tell your story. So with Brotherman, it was like, okay, we want to create this world, a world that people haven't seen, with these black characters, but they're not African American, and they're not Africa or America. It's a different dimension. Nobody ever thought about, like, I didn't see anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but we see plenty of stories where it's like, Lord of the Rings, it's white characters and they're in another dimension. Star Wars, they're in another dimension. Luke Skywalker, he looks like a European, but he's not European because he's not from Europe.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So to me, to create a world like Brotherman, the whole world has to be created. You don't film it in Atlanta and he's on Peachtree Street.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it's just like, oh, that's not what,
Yeah.
And I think
that's just another dude in Atlanta.
Right. And see, that was the thing about with some of the people that wanted to do things with Brotherman, because we had movie deals since the 90s.
Yeah.
And some people did get it.
How's that feel to have a studio be like, yo, we should make a movie?
We had that from the first year Brotherman came out.
That's what I'm saying. So you're spoiled. Okay.
Yeah, Savant Entertainment was the first one that did Power Rangers. Yeah, they were the first ones to contact us. Then we talked to Motown, Suzanne DePass. She had repped us. She was the one who actually shot the Michael Jackson audition footage. Well, the Jackson 5 audition footage.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, Columbia Television. Then years later, it was like Lauryn Hill. I sat down with her. She wanted to do something. Sam Jackson. Like there was like a lot of in some cases it wasn't, I wouldn't put it on external. There were some things that were internal.
Yeah.
Like going through a divorce and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the timing wasn't right. And these are part of the things I say, like how people don't really understand the journey. They try to create their own story.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ignorance
but
is
I would say,
bliss.
but overall, it was like I think from the very beginning in the early '90s, we knew we had something. Because when the
Mm-hmm.
people approached us from Hollywood, we never went to Hollywood. We weren't about creating something so we can go hat in hand to somebody
Mm-hmm.
and say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, look what we have." So we never pitched Brotherman anymore.
Yeah.
We usually contacted because we always said, we always had the mindset of we can do this ourselves. We can build
Mm-hmm.
this ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
that's before like now people really can do it themselves. We were thinking that
100%.
we even had that type of technology. Back then it was just really more about the principle of ownership and creating an industry, or at least being part of an industry and owning your piece in it,
Yeah.
not just being exploited and somebody takes your concept, they
Yeah.
turn it into some old like corny stereotypical thing. You get
Mm-hmm.
paid, but like, oh man, I got $30,000 or something like you can't buy a house. I mean, I'm not saying that's the number, but I'm just saying like,
No, I know, but $30,000 goes quick.
yeah, but we see so many stories like of entertainers who signed these contracts and ended up with nothing or died broke, and we're up here thinking that they were like billionaires.
Yeah.
I said, "Nah, we're not going to go out like that." And I said, "I'd rather uh, hold on to it because I felt like at some point it can uh, manifest into what it is that we want to see, and it's getting there. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's getting there.
If you were to make a Brother Man movie, would you want to do animation or would you want to do live action
Both.
or a blend?
Well, when I say both, meaning live action, live action. I was just talking to my son about this. Like we were saying, all the iterations of Spider-Man, Batman. You got anime Batman now. You got
Yeah.
Batman live action. You had the campy series. You had the Dark Knight, Superman. All these Superman movies. Like, why does it have to just be one movie? I think the first movie,
Yeah.
however it's done, I think it just has to be done in a way where at least it's sad. I want it to be more than satisfactory, but at least satisfactory and greater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that way, because once you make the film, it's embedded into people's homes
Yep.
globally.
That
And
sets the
then
standard.
you
Yep.
right, then you can do the next version because the technology got better. Let's retell that same story, then we're going to do this.
Yep.
Let's tell the story again, but now let's do it in this style.
Or even
And
like
to
you
me,
did in the
that,
comic books, you started book one was a certain way, book two, you had the borders a
mhm.
little bit different.
Yeah, and
You
then the
play.
graphic novel, that was our first color book,
Yeah.
and that didn't come till 14 years later.
Yeah.
We did the graphic novel. So to me, like I see an animated. I would like to do an animated feature. That's how I always wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and because there's kind of like no limitation. Like it can look like the comic, it can be
Mm-hmm.
distorted like the comic.
Mm-hmm.
But I also say live action could be cool too,
Yeah.
as long as you're building that universe.
Yeah.
But nowadays, that's more uh that that's the possibilities are greater than in the 90s.
Yeah.
Remember how you had the Batman movie and all that? Like everything had to be practical
Uh-huh.
sets with matte paintings and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Now you can actually create worlds. People are making universes and YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
You know
You
what I
should
mean?
see
So,
there's this one guy, he created this universe that's in the spaceship and he's doing everything. It's in 3D and I think he's doing it in Unreal Engine and he's
oh yeah, yeah,
controlling
Unreal,
everything. He's
yeah.
controlling everything with his
Mhm.
iPhone and all kinds of stuff. And he's just continuously putting this stuff out and you're like, "What the hell?" And it's better than a lot of corny stuff that Hollywood's throwing out there.
Yeah, I Unreal Engine and Blender. I saw a movie that was done completely in Blender.
Yeah.
And they shot live stuff and then they did all their composite it with Blender, like they built out the world in Blender.
Oh
And I
yeah.
said, yeah, see, this stuff can be done. I still think there's still a budget involved because even there's still time that goes in that
Sure.
where you have to be freed up
Yep.
somehow to do it. Like, if
Yep.
you're trying to balance a job and do that like a couple hours here and there, as opposed to like I'm financed to just do this every day and get all the people I need on it.
Yep.
Um, it can be done. So yeah,
Yep.
we're getting close to it. There's some things go on that I just don't announce until it's actually in the works.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm working on a graphic novel for HarperCollins.
Hmm.
It's another Kwame Alexander book because we did a book called The Crossover
Mm-hmm.
that did really well. So the book I'm doing now is called Rebound, which is the precursor to The Crossover. So Rebound is actually already out. Uh, the hardback is out, but
Yeah.
I'm doing the adaptation. We're doing a fully illustrated book. So this is going to take me all into next year. So that's the main thing I'm working
Nice.
on.
Yeah.
And my fine art work that's what I'm doing like uh on the side thing
Yeah.
to
Let me
get my
talk to you about going into the studio to do your fine artwork.
Mhm.
How's that? Are you the kind that plays music and you get into it, you start dancing around, or do you go in there and you're like serious?
Saturday a little
You're like,
bit. Do a twirl.
you go in, it was all a dream, yeah.
Oh man. Hey, I might try that today. But now I mean I always have music. Most of the time music I always used to play all the music tracks that we make ourselves
Yeah,
because it kind of fully immerses me in what I'm doing. But now it's like I'll just sometimes I don't even listen to music now
yeah.
because a lot of times I used to always have music when I'm working. Uh, Recently I just been painting with no sound,
Hmm.
which is kind of weird because I always got to have something going. But
Mhm,
when I started doing these paintings within the last 2 weeks, I would
mhm.
go do my setup and I'll start working and I don't put anything on. And next thing you know, I'm not missing not having any music
Yeah,
and I'm just working on the piece, which is not really me. I was always having something or a movie playing,
sure.
like
Yeah,
background noise,
yep.
Alien Earth, the new Alien Earth. I gotta check it out. You know, but now I was like, man, this is actually kind of cool, man. Like just painting and just being in my thoughts
Yeah,
and thinking about the things that we're talking today. That's usually like in my head.
yeah. Going through that process, figuring it out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. I started hanging out. I reconnected with one of my homies from Chicago, Mike.
Mhm,
He's on some of these talks every once in a while, and I'm trying to get him to think about, um, he's a rapper,
mhm.
and so he likes to make music and he'll do all that stuff. I'm planting the seed of when you're making music, let's connect, because chances are I'm working on some video or some animated something. And if I can leverage his music making skills to like blend into what I'm
Yeah, yeah.
doing, you know what I mean? It's
Mhm,
just a relationship that's gonna blossom.
mhm.
And then, we go out and find whatever it is that we're working on. We'll go out and find that person and try to network that way, and together, chip away and keep your legs moving.
That's actually like when I talked about my cousin earlier, because him and his brother they were actually always producing stuff together.
Mhm.
Uh, because they had a record deal like way back in like 88, 89. The whole album was fire. I mean, they could release that stuff now and it
What was the
still
album? Can we find it?
well, it didn't come out. It was shelved. It didn't
Oh.
come out. They were under it was Criminal Records and that was the company and Arthur Baker was the producer. He produced
Mhm.
Planet Rock. And then years later, they were signed to Death Row just to do production work. And
Hmm.
then when Tupac got shot, all the opportunity fell through. But I was always saying back then
That
to him,
night
I was
made
like,
everybody scared.
yeah, but see, but what you were just saying now is what I was saying to them back then. Like, man, like forget all this. Well, I'm gonna say forget it, but man, like, 'cause I think at that time I was working at Classic Chupo on Wild Thornberry, so I was
Hmm.
looking at
Hmm.
everything as a step towards getting to animation. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I said we do
Yeah.
the animation, then y'all can produce the music, and then you're not worried about trying to produce for other artists or get your music out through the music industry. We
Hmm.
funnel the music through the animation, and then we sell the Big City Metropolitan Orchestra album. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Like that, I was one that years, and then when Gorillas came out, I said, see, that's what I was talking about, man. Like, and now see, like all the rappers getting down with it. I remember what I think was doing with them. I know De La Soul was,
Yeah. I think
but
Doom was with them for a few tracks.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, see, that's what I'm saying. And it's like that's still I think animation, marrying animation with musical artists is always like a plus, because music
Yeah.
drives the animation and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Right.
Yeah, so that would be a good collab with your friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm always down to I think you and I are similar in knowing that I'm at a certain point, but there's plenty still to be learned.
Hmm.
And so, but I'm not coming empty-handed, you know. I bring
Yeah,
the noise in the way that I
yeah.
bring the noise, you know.
Got you.
Um so yeah, like I'm always trying to work on something. Um Again, it's that library of content that you have
Hmm.
that or experiences that you put yourself into that that will make or break a project,
Hmm.
you know, and being able to, sometimes you have to hold your hands up and tell everybody who's in the crew, hey, it's cool. We're gonna be fine. You're gonna be all right, I promise.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a bump.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm always, especially if you're from the inner city and stuff like that, because I have a really big bone to pick with this country. Just the lack of investment in where I/we come from.
Hmm.
I don't think that it needs to be this difficult. I don't think we need to pull our bootstraps this goddamn hard.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm always trying to get folks um that mean something to me on a project. And then we'll go and we'll do some things. We'll do some cool things together.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
beef up that resume, you know?
yeah.
Because one of the first things that people are gonna ask you is, "Oh, I see that you're applying for this job. What have you been up to lately?"
Hmm.
And some people are like, "Oh, I've been looking for work." No, 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 no. I've been making
Hmm.
movies. I've been
Hmm.
interviewing people. I've been working on drawing. I've been making music. I wrote a diss track to rappers that do their own graphic design.
Oh,
That's
snap.
what I've been up to.
Now that's different.
But the
Uh,
process the process the thing that triggered that whole thing was I had a friend who went to music school, came out and was, like, biting his nails on nervous. He's like, "I just don't know. I don't know. Like, I wanna make music." I said, "Well, then why don't you make music?"
mhm.
And then a couple months later, we were in a music studio because I went and I found a singer, and I helped my friend start writing the song. And then when I found the singer helped make the song prettier because that's what he
Mhm.
does. He writes music and he records and stuff like that. And then, we were in the music studio and my boy looked at me and he's like, "You got a song?" Like, they were taking a break from the main song, and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, let me eat." I went in there for about an hour and just laid down the track, and it
Oh,
was
dang.
incredible.
Is it out?
Oh yeah, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, all
Oh,
the
nice. Yeah, send me the
yeah,
link.
yeah,
I gotta check that out. I gotta
yeah.
check that out.
It's funny. It's
Mhm.
funny. Yep. It's called Bauhaus. And
Okay.
yeah, and it talks about how it's some artistic guy who's got
Mhm.
a large library of fonts, and all
Mhm.
these people are using AI and all this stuff to
Mhm.
do all their, their graphic design, and rappers don't understand that it don't matter if you have AI. If you don't
Mhm.
have that eye for creativity for making it look good, it's gonna look like trash.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just
Yeah,
pushing buttons.
yeah. I just saw a post on that. A friend of mine just sent me one on that today.
Yeah,
I said, yeah, that's legit.
yeah. I'll send you over the link to the song, and then you let me know what you think.
Yeah, no, I'm into music, man. Like a lot of people they didn't know, like even when I had my turntables, like, yo man, you cut. I said, man, I was DJing since I was like 15,
Yeah.
like through high school and stuff like that. But I always had to choose between music or art. I mean, that's how my life was because
Mhm.
uh each one takes up a lot of your time.
So
So
much.
I yeah, I like I mean the visual art was always the thing I was doing since I was little. The music was always that's my fun thing.
Yeah.
It supplements because even my tracks, the tracks I do, they fit my universe. So I was like uh I mean like hip hop of course, but also like theatrical music. Since
Mhm.
I was little, I had the
Mhm.
Alien soundtrack and Star Trek soundtrack
No.
and even like orchestra music. I was always into that. And my
Those
brother, he
movie
was
soundtracks I cannot listen to if I'm driving, boy, because the wrong song hits, I'm doing like
see,
105, like, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, I am gone.
see that. You don't want that to be a soundtrack to your destruction. But no, no, I was always into that. So I like things that sound epic.
Yeah.
So when I was like into like this those '90s instrumental style, I would like to mash that up with something epic. That's really what the Brotherman theme song was.
Yeah.
Me and Brian put together. It was just the strings, the heavy strings with grimy, heavy drum tracks that take
Mhm.
you into a whole nother dimension. So
Mhm.
that's kind of really what I be on. So when people say they do music, I like to listen to it, listen to the production, how do they put it together.
Mhm.
Um, I analyze that the same way I analyze art. I just like creativity. So which
Yeah.
goes back to when we were talking about AI. It's like AI to me, well, when it comes to AI art and all that, it's just the end product I can look at, but I can't see the process. And I like process. Like I said, I
Yeah.
like pencil sketches. I like,
Yep.
before the full animation is done, I like to see the sketches. I like to see um even like, when they're just talking about the script, going from script to little thumbnail
Mhm.
storyboards to this part, that part.
Mhm.
So I like seeing how things are put together. But with AI, you eliminate that process unless you create a simulated process, and it's just not the same. And I don't think it'll have the same uh, longevity of something that's actually created by
Mhm.
hand. But
Mhm.
like I said, it has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
So this is just my take on it now. I don't think it can change or whatever. So
And for some folks that, um, that have a I talk to a lot of people that have ideas for a kid's book or something like that, but they just don't have a budget, you know?
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's why I said
I say,
there's
"Tell your
pros and
story."
cons. I get that. Yeah,
Yeah,
tell the
tell
story.
your
Even
story.
even for animators. I mean, they got the animation AI and all that. Like, if you can get your thing done, it's conceptual. Creating things conceptually.
Yeah,
I think it's a tool, and if that's gonna work for you, cool. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying I just like to see process.
same.
Um,
Yep.
but I mean, even if I could use something to create. I wouldn't want to make a Brotherman movie AI, but I could see using AI to create a treatment. Like
Mm-hmm.
this how I want, but I would
Mm-hmm.
still ultimately want it done by people.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, we use AI to help build the universe to show, so I can show people this is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
that's why I say, there's pros and cons. I don't. It's not for me to say what
Right.
what should be used and not used.
Right. The way I explain it to people is I'll use AI for things that I don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to be an animator. I want to be good at art. I want to be a good illustrator. So I work towards that. And I'm not going to use AI towards that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm trying to do research on something, if I'm trying to, if there's some supporting activity to what I want to be when I grow up, I'll use
Yeah.
AI for that.
And the accounting, like you
Yeah.
said, strategy, marketing strategies is really good for that.
Yeah.
That's helped me.
I've had a full conversation with Chat GPT where because one of my ultimate goals is I want to start a creative studio specifically in Chicago where I grew up, where nobody gave me a chance, where nobody knew when I said I want to be an animator, I want to draw for a living, I want to make movies and stuff. Nobody knew what the hell I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to create a place for kids like me that might be creative, and they'll have access to things, to software, to hardware, to whatever, to people that will teach them how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And so in Chat GPT, I had a conversation. We came up with a business plan. We came up with a budget. We came up with possible funding opportunities. We came up with how I can leverage being a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about how I can leverage being Latino. We talked about
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff. And so
Mm-hmm.
now it's sitting there. But again, because we keep talking about um, having to pay bills and be grown-ups, is
Yeah, yeah.
sitting there. I haven't been able to focus on it because I'm doing all this other stuff. But that's there, and that's what I'm using ChatGPT for, is to
Yeah, but
brainstorm some
that's
of these bigger ideas.
but that's the exciting part because I have like you laid out a lot of strategies for me, like how I can relaunch certain things,
Yeah,
and a lot of things were I had brain fog on for a long time because sometimes it's hard for me to go to sleep sometimes because actually I'll put it like this. You ever know, when you're going to bed is usually when the thoughts that kind of cloud your mind hit you like when it's time for bed. Like, oh
yeah.
man, how am I going to do this? How am I going to figure this out? But now I got chat. I'll be like, oh wait a minute. And then I just ask Chat GPT, hey, how can I fix this? How can I streamline this? And be like, oh wow, yeah, great, though, great idea. You know what I mean? Like, you know how he gas you up. ChatGPT always gassing you up. That's
It
a
makes you
wonderful
feel good
idea.
about it. That's a great
It's
idea.
designed to
Like,
make you keep coming back. Man, oh yeah, we could do this, blah 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 blah. You gets me all hyped up, and I'm just like, but it does make sense. It's like, oh, okay. So yeah, so first thing in the morning, we can hit this, get the ground, get off the ground running with this, and then next I can sleep better because I just,
yeah. Oops.
this thing that's been bothering me all this time is
Mm-hmm.
now fleshed out in my head, and then I
Mm-hmm.
fall right to sleep. Like I'm
Yep.
not up here trying to figure out, man, how am I going to resolve this, I mean, you still got to put the work in, but like you said, when you get to it, you get to it. But at least it feels good knowing I have it strategized now,
Mm-hmm.
and because for the longest time we didn't have that type of access where you're just going to the library trying to figure things out. And some of the simple things you're trying to figure out take all day or a whole weekend.
Yeah.
And you might still not get it figured out. But now I get figured out in a few minutes. And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. So that's to me, that's the part I appreciate.
Yeah.
But that's
Same.
part of what they say, that's part of the takeover, the Skynet takeover. First you have the introduction, and then you have the we're in the second stage, uh where you build the need
Mm.
the need for it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
then the third stage, I think, is
Build up
when
the demand.
the third stage is to crush you. I think that's when the androids come in. But but I'm loving stage two because it's just like, what am I gonna do without it, man? They got me, man. They got me. We're there, but hey.
Yeah, but like it's not like so back when animation first started, people were drawing pictures
Mhm.
and then they went into the 3D realm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of the same.
Yeah, and I mean this is why, I mean, like, to me, I even when I say that, I'm not even stressing it. I said,
Yeah.
I think anytime something new comes, there's always the fear factor,
Uh-huh.
and then what happens, society starts to adjust and it just
Uh-huh.
becomes the norm.
Yep.
Because people were saying that in the beginning, like, when we were just talking about the digital tablets,
Mm-hmm.
and they thought people wouldn't be drawing on paper anymore. People still draw on paper. People still paint. It's just something additional to what we do, and then we find ways to merge and mash it up, or maybe I do a little bit here. Some people,
Yeah.
they don't want to have the digital, they just want to have this. Some people,
Yeah.
they do both. So
Yep. And I can only imagine like today is probably the same feeling that illustrators had when they invented the camera.
mhm.
Everybody back then, from what I understand, I read up on it, but I wasn't there. But from what I understand, all of the
Oh,
illustrators were very nervous because you could draw a thing and then it would go on the newspaper. Or now here's this guy with his box and he just pushes a button and the picture shows up. And now you send that picture to the newspaper and now you don't need illustrators anymore.
because, yeah, because the illustrators always had to, that's why we had so many Renaissance paintings and stuff like that,
Yeah,
because that's what documented the portraits. That's what documented
100%.
our
And
activities.
now we got TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah,
And it used to take time. You used to have to sit there and be like, "No, hold still," and then you're putting paint on the
yeah,
canvas and
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't think about it like that, but I did hear about some other things. Like, they thought dishwashers, when the dishwasher came along, that, I forgot what they thought that was going to replace. But every new invention, I think, I don't know what it was, but um yeah, and also me, I don't know, just me personally, just in general, I don't live in fear. I
Right,
mean, I don't live
right.
in fear of what's to come, because nobody knows what's to come, and I don't have time to
Yep,
think about what is a
100%.
thing. I just want to live. I gotta live and enjoy my life. I don't
Right,
think about what's supposed to happen tomorrow. I say, yo,
right.
then this and live up the best today. You don't know what's going to happen, and then next, tomorrow turns out to be like the greatest day you ever had. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. So
Right.
that's why, when people talk about stuff, the fear factor stuff, I said, come on, man. I don't know. It might be true, might not be true. In the meantime, I'm enjoying these moments,
Right.
because that's all that
For me
matters.
for me, at the end of the day, I wanna be a storyteller. You're gonna
Mhm.
come to Carlos to see how he tells this story. It just so happens that I wanna do it with film and animation, and you can go to literally anyone. You could go to
Mhm.
Disney and watch their AI stuff. You can go to not even Disney, but whomever else is leveraging this stuff to make their movies and their animations and stuff like that. But it's still that's them. Like
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
wanted to check in on Brotherman Comics, I know I have to go to Dawood.
Mhm.
I'm not going anywhere else because
Mhm.
I enjoy the way you tell stories. I enjoy seeing the way that you make these stories unfold, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Disney kid, I'm not interested in Disney telling your story. I'm interested in you telling your story,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm like you. I'm like, whatever. It's not. AI is never going to be me.
Mhm. Like I
AI
said,
is
drawn from
never
the
going to be me.
soul, man. That's is it comes from it comes from within, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once we understand that, then that's where that's why I said that's where the elimination of the fear when you're not secure in yourself, I think that's when people live in fear. But
Yeah.
when you know that when you understand your value and you understand that you're unique, because I know everybody they're told that they're unique, but I don't think they really believe it or they really know it. But then I think once you really know it,
Hmm.
you don't you don't have that fear. And I think what also would help me was when I was 18. Like, yeah, that's 18 when I first started airbrushing at the mall in
Hmm.
Philly. And that was my first time really putting my art, creating artwork in front of a crowd. And back then it was jumping, like everybody was down there every week. And
Hmm.
I was right there in the food court. And so, um, like I said, I never thought of myself as being number one, even though people down there, they be gassing you up, like, man, that's the man, blah, blah, blah. I just never really bought into that. I just knew I had a value. I understood I had a value,
Yeah.
but I never worried about if somebody else set up right next to me and started airbrushing.
Yeah.
Because back then I always felt like, if somebody else set up and started airbrushing over there and say they do these fire portraits, they're really good at portraits. And
Hmm.
that's not my forte, but I'm doing these cartoons or whatever. And I'm like, okay, he or she is gonna have their audience, and I'm gonna have my audience. I can't imagine 1,000 people that come in the mall, the 1,000 people are gonna go to this person, and I get zero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's gonna people that's gonna go there, and people come here. So I
Hmm.
understood that at an early age.
Hmm.
So I was never that type of person that felt as though I didn't have a place in the market. Um, I just understood you find your audience. And
Right.
I understood that way back in the day. And
Yeah.
now with social media, people should really understand that you could do teddy bears with sparkly stuff on them and you'll find an audience.
Right. You just have
And
to
you'll be
give
like,
yourself time.
mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
And yeah, you just put it and you just gotta believe in it and put it out there. Like you said,
Right.
give it time and you gotta know. And then once it finds its audience and blows up, all these people say, I didn't even know people were into that. Because it's not for you to know. It's what I mean? It
Yeah.
exists. So that's why I tell people, I say, even artists, young artists coming up, I kind of sometimes feel bad because these artists are going to school and they come out of school and a lot of them are feeling uh challenged by, I guess it's that whole John Henry thing, it's you versus the machine,
Yep.
and the machine is taking the jobs, and a lot of the young people are feeling like there's not going to be an opportunity for them. And I
Yeah.
have young people I talk to, and I said, yo, the machine is not you.
Right.
You have to believe in yourself.
Right.
I said, see, number one, no, you know how the machine will defeat you by number one, you just gave up on yourself. The
Yep.
machine didn't even have to do anything yet.
Yep.
You gave up on yourself
You didn't
before
even
there was.
show up to play.
Yeah, exactly. There you
Hmm.
go. And that's what I try to break down to them. I say, yo, just do your thing. And it is like young people who skills, I'm just like, they're like, I feel like I wasn't even killing it like you at your age because they
You
have
know what I'm
access.
saying?
Yeah, they're accelerated at like 18, 19, 20 years old, but they
Just
don't
insanely talented.
believe in themselves
Yep.
because they don't have a job at a major studio.
Yep.
Oh, they're not hiring here. Then so what if nobody? If they're not, you can create what you want. You have all the tools.
Yeah.
We didn't have all those tools back then.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
the studio system is fine, but I see the studio system just another artist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously they're talented, but they're just and competition is the wrong word, but if you want to go there, or if you let's use that word, I have to compete against a bunch of other artists for said job. or
Hmm.
to tell said story. And for me, the studio system is just another artist. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
another person. You know, like there's no fear.
Hmm.
Because like what we were saying, this is the way I tell stories. This is the way I draw something. This is the way I do this,
Hmm.
you know? And for younger artists, if you really want to work at one of those studios, keep working on your stuff. And exactly like your story is a perfect example. You are working on your own stuff and people were approaching you.
Hmm.
Just do that.
Hmm.
Just do that. And then hopefully, if your stuff is good, Brotherman Comics good, you'll be a showrunner. And at the end of the day, that's what the majority of artists want to be is they
Yeah,
want
it
to
is.
run their own thing.
Hmm.
They want to tell their own stories. You just need the funding from over there.
Hmm.
Okay. Or jump on Chat GPT and figure out funding that way.
That man, that's there's so many opportunities that sometimes I don't understand how some people say they don't know what to do. And I
Yeah.
say, you got even before chat, you had a phone that had access
Yeah.
to the world. I said we didn't have none of that stuff,
Yeah.
and we were always making stuff happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Our era, man, kids was coming up with stuff. You like, and that was the exciting thing. So, but yeah, but this is where we are now, and we're just in a new age. But I think mentorship is still a valuable thing because even
100%.
with all the access, I think young people they still need mentorship.
Mhm. Yep. Because
So that
it's the story of the two bulls on the hill. Have you ever heard this one?
uh,
There's
you have to
two
put it
bulls on
on.
the hill. There's an older bull and a younger bull, and then at the bottom of the hill, there's a bunch of cows. And the younger bull is just full of piss and vinegar, and he's just like, "Let's run down there and have sex with the cow." Like, just rush down there and have sex with the cow. And the older bull is like, "Or we could just walk down and have sex with them all." Take your time. It takes time. It takes time to get where you wanna be.
Mhm.
And if you rush into something, that's where you start to make mistakes, and that's where you start signing maybe the wrong deal or, you know, t
Mhm.
take your time. It's no rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, do you have any, like, new IPs or anything that you're gonna be working on? Or are you focused on this graphic
Um,
novel?
well, not as far as new IPs, nothing in the works right now. Because it, like I said, this graphic novel is going to take me into next year finishing this
Yeah.
up. Um, the the book that we just completed, me and my brother, this for HarperCollins, is Bad Boy just dropped, which is the
Mm.
life of Walter Dean Myers,
Mhm.
uh, award-winning um, children's book author who passed away. He's also the author of Monster, and I did me and my brother did the adaptation of that. He passed away right when we finished Monster, and then
Mm.
HarperCollins approached me and my brother about doing the biography of him, the
Yeah.
adaptation. So that just dropped in September of this year. Um, and then, I did the book Victory Stand with author Derek Barnes, which is about the life of Olympic gold medalist Tommy Smith. We came out with that one a
Nice.
couple years ago, and that got it was a National Book Award nominee
Mm.
and Coretta Scott King Award winner. That was multiple
Beautiful.
award winner. Um, and I did a couple books with Kwame Alexander, which was the crossover book, which was about soccer. Becoming Muhammad Ali with James James Patterson and Kwame Alexander wrote that
Nice.
together. And then also there was an adaptation of Monster to film. It's on Netflix.
Mm.
Um, with I think Nas had something to do with that, and man, that's a lot of major people on there.
Yeah.
And the crossover was adapted to Disney Plus series.
Oh, damn.
So
That's
yeah, so
cool.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Like, so even when I wasn't working on Brotherman, I was telling people, nah, I was constantly working on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things I'm working on now,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then not to mention like my own things that I'm trying to get off the ground. And
Sure.
and really, the fine art is just tapping back into myself, things I just want to do for myself. Because I always wanted to just, at the end of the day, when the money comes, when I finally get to the point where it's just I don't have to worry about generating money or working for anybody, drawing for people. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to paint,
Mm-hmm.
travel the world, paint, draw,
Mm-hmm.
conventional.
Yeah.
Not even for the sake of being the best, just to explore new things and be
Sure.
creative. So, but
Yeah.
but yeah, okay. Can I get my links or will that get
Yeah.
posted?
Go for it. Go for it.
Um,
Let everybody
okay,
know where they can find you.
okay, I have brothermancomics.com. That's brothermancomics.com. My personal art page is anyabwile.com, ANYABWILE.com. Instagram, it's Brotherman Comics with an X, Dawud _Anyabwile. And then my new art channel is Sevaloon Studios. That's SEVALUNE Studio.
SEVA
LUN
SEVA. Oh,
SEVALUNE Studio. And that's Instagram, but I also have if you want to buy any of the original paintings that I'm doing, that's you can go on eBay and type in Sevaloon Studio and you'll see
nice.
all the paintings I'm doing, I'm posting up there. So you can either auction for them or I have some buy it now.
Excellent. Thank
So
you
that's
again,
what's up.
sir, for
Oh,
taking
thank you,
time,
man.
coming to
Really
hang
do.
out. I started
Oh yeah.
seeing a lot of those pictures of you painting and stuff, and then I
Hmm.
started seeing a lot of the new Brotherman comic uh
Hmm.
stuff, and I needed to tap back in. I was like, let me come reconnect. Because yeah, man, like it's been a couple years since we caught up with each other,
Yeah, yeah. Few
and
more, few more grades since you saw
you
me.
know what I'm saying?
But hey, man, that's wisdom, man. That's wisdom.
That's
You
what I
know.
said. Well, I had shaved all the way down, and people kept talking to me like I was young. I was like, let me grow this out so folks know I've been through some things.
Yeah, yeah. Sit down, young. Let me talk to you. Yeah, and yeah, I really appreciate coming on and like I said, one of the things, reason why you're seeing uh the stores and everything, that was part of what chat helped me clear up because I knew I had to do all these things and I was just feeling overwhelmed every day. And
Yeah,
I try to spend all day doing one thing. And
yeah,
that's one of the things that chat did help me just lay out how to compartmentalize my day so I'm not
hmm
stressed out. But
yep,
I'm getting everything done,
yeah.
you know. So
And as a reminder, I am a resource. Reach out. Don't be shy.
yes, sir.
I'm in this room all the time, working all the
Yeah,
time.
I think a lot of us, man, we are in our space, man, and it I don't know, I think that's just what happens. It's like we just get caught up in our world.
Yeah,
But yeah, same here, man. It's not limited to just here. Man, I like building real relations and
same. Yeah, I
so,
got I got a bunch of friends and really close friends that live in Atlanta too. So one of these days I've been threatening to come visit. I'm gonna get all you guys in a, I don't know, old country buffet. We'd all go eat and just be crazy. It'd be fun to hang out with some of you guys out there.
yeah, yeah. All right, but hey, I'm here, man. I'm like you, man. I'm be in this room. Once I sign out, I gotta jump right back on this book. So but once again, man, I really appreciate you, and I hope what we shared is helpful. especially to some of these young folks out here, like they're looking for some guidance.
Yeah, don't be scared. Cannonball.
You know it.
And with that, everybody, we out.
All right. Peace.